Talk.
I thought you were going first. Welcome, you guys, to Live at 5. I'm Beth Stevens.
I'm Paul Wontorek, and I thought whoever sits in that chair goes first, but it's all right.
There are no
We're
rules.
fine. We're here.
There
We're
are no
live.
rules.
We have a fantastic guest today.
Two-time Tony-nominated diva Vivien Reed is here in the house.
Fantastic. So excited she's here.
Yeah.
We have some news.
There's some big
We'll
news.
kick it off with some news.
Yes, sir.
So we finally know who the 30th anniversary Phantom is on Broadway. Peter Jobach, am I saying it right?
Sure.
There's like an umlaut. Is it an umlaut? There's dots over the.
It is
anyway,
an umlaut.
He's Swedish.
He's Swedish. They love umlauts in
He's a
Sweden.
fantastic Phantom. He's an acclaimed Phantom. He played the Phantom before in London. He's Swedish. Did I mention that? London in 2012, Broadway in 2013. I think it was a brief run, and then Stockholm in 2016 twice. He has 2 Swedish Tony Awards. Now, I don't know if they're actually called Swedish Tony Awards.
I don't think they are.
I'm
but
assuming
I like that
they're
you say
called
that.
something else, but it's my notes say 2 Swedish
like
Tony
ABBA
Awards.
Yeah.
One of them is for the. Remember when Benny and Bjorn worked the ABBA guys who did Mamma Mia when they were working on Christina? It's like their other musical. He did it there and got a Swedish Tony Award for that.
Not
and he
called
played
that.
the MC in Cabaret and got a Swedish Tony Award. I can't
Also
wait to
not
find out
called
what it's
that.
really called.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's a recording artist with over 1 million albums sold.
He's a big deal.
Yeah, he's a big deal. Anyway, James Barber is, of course, currently playing the Phantom. He's a fantastic Phantom, or Eric, if you prefer. He's leaving on December 23rd, and Laird McIntosh, who plays Andre, I believe, is filling in. He's the in-between Phantom. And then Peter Jobach starts on January 15th for a limited run through March 31st. And presumably there will be a big something happening for the 30th anniversary, which is January 26th. And he gave a quote, and he said that he's excited to be playing this classic role on the classic grounds of Broadway.
Say his name one more time.
Peter Jobach.
Oh, you said it so nicely. Okay, we've got casting for admissions. So this is the show at Lincoln Center by Joshua Harmon.
Is that the Tina Fey movie? Wasn't that called?
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Making that up.
So,
Anyway.
yeah, okay, so this
Paul
is the
Rudd,
Mitzi
Tina
Newhouse.
Fey. Anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're just going
Go
to
ahead,
move
just
on.
ignore me.
Please don't ask me pop culture questions while I'm talking about off-Broadway theater at Lincoln Center. So Joshua Harmon, who did Significant Other and is coming up with Skin Tight soon. Listen to this great casting. Dana Ivey, Sally Murphy, Andrew Garman, and Ben Edelman. And need I say, Jessica Hecht will be the star. We love Jessica Hecht.
Yep, she's great.
That starts February 15th and opens on March 12th. Do you want to hear what it's about?
Yes, I would love
Okay,
to.
here we go. In admissions, Sherry Rosen Mason, that's Jessica Hecht, you have to say it like that, is head of the admissions department at the Hillcrest School, fighting to diversify the student body. Alongside her husband, the school's headmaster, they've largely succeeded, I'm going to keep going, in bringing a stodgy institution into the 21st century. But, see, there's got to be a but.
The tension.
When their only son sets his sights on an Ivy League university, personal ambition collides with progressive values with convulsive results. That sounds kind of medical.
I really just wanted you to read the whole thing because I like the use of the word convulsive. It sounds like they're really trying to make
it sounds medical.
that off-Broadway play is drama. Anyway, so when does that start? Next year?
I already said, but I can repeat that.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Those dates for you.
Alicia,
February 15th. Yes.
Big congratulations to Alicia Umbres, who's been here on Live at 5, and Cody Williams. They got married yesterday. And of course, they met when they were in On the Town.
Our former vlogger.
Former vlogger, Alicia Umbres, whose vlog was called Taxi Cab Confessions. Speaking of taxi cabs, Broadway.com. This is a transition.
Segue.
I'm so proud of that one.
There's Broadway.com ads on taxi cabs every holiday season. I've been noticing a lot of them already. And if you want to make some cash off our taxi tops, you can do that by taking a selfie with a Broadway.com. I actually did it on Insta Story today. You can take your own pictures in front of a taxi, and if you email it to taxitopselfie@broadway.com, you could win swag and an Amazon gift card, and it's a ridiculous promotion. We do it every year, but it's fun. And also, congratulations, Alicia and Cody.
What's the email again?
Thank you. Taxi Top Selfie, that's with an IE, at Broadway.com.
I'm going to interrupt the news for a second because Abby has just told us that Guldmasken Awards is the Swedish equivalent of the Tony Awards.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's live for a reason.
Two-time winner of that.
Of that. Guldmasken
You're
Award. Long Day's Journey into Night. Okay, so we knew this
That's
was
a
happening.
long play.
It's a long freaking play. This is in London with Matthew Beard as Edmund and Rory Keenan as James Tyrone Jr. And this is Richard Eyre's production. Of course, this is
Yeah, they
Eugene
just
O'Neill
announced those
classic.
two.
Right, just those two, because we already knew that Jeremy Irons and Leslie Manville were going to be the seniors in
Yep.
there. But it's at the Wyndham's Theatre in London in January 27th through the April 8th. And then it's coming to BAM in Brooklyn.
Academy of Music.
Thank you, from May 8th through the 27th. So you can see, oh, and then it's going to LA.
Yeah.
Look fancy. It's really going everywhere.
Yeah.
From June 8th through July 1st. So no matter where you are, you can see Long Day's Journey in Tonight.
It seems like you can always see Long Day's Journey in Tonight.
But
It's
not with
always an
Jeremy
option.
Irons. Not with Jeremy Irons. That's
always
more.
somewhere.
That's exciting.
So, you know, sometimes musicals don't run very long on Broadway.
I don't know what you're talking
And
about.
sometimes there's reunions. And sometimes it's fun to look back on shows that didn't run very long. Do you remember the story of my life?
Yes.
2009 musical that we saw. We were,
Oh,
and
yes.
it opened February 19th, 2009. It closed February 22nd, 2009. And those are the kind of flops that really deserve our love because, you know, God bless
Because
them.
if you were there, you know.
It was a beautiful little intimate musical starring Will Chase and Malcolm Getz. One of them, I think, died. The other one had to do the eulogy at his friends. It was really sad. It was really emotional. I think it played good speed, and it didn't make it on Broadway. It was at the Booth Theater. It was written by Brian Hill and Neil Bartram, and there will be a... Oh, by the way, it got 4 Drama Desk nominations, including Outstanding Musical. I thought I should mention that. There will be a reunion on December 10th at 7 p.m. at Feinstein's 54 Below. And then there's It Should Have Been You,
Which had a little bit of a longer
which
run.
did run. It ran from April to August 2 years ago in 2015. Of course, Sierra Boggess did a video blog. What was that one called?
I have no idea.
We have a lot of video blog
I
titles.
have no idea.
Anyway, that cast was amazing. Sierra
Tyne
Boggess, Tyne
Daly.
Daly, Harriet Harris, Lisa Howard, David Burkham, Montego Glover, Josh Grizzetti, Adam Heller, I can't.
Go-
Edward Hibbert, Michael X. Martin, N.L. Nathan, Nick Spenger, Chip
Zion.
Zion. It's a great cast. And David Hyde Pierce directed it. And his partner, Brian Hargrove, wrote it with Barbara and Salmi. And they are also having some sort of reunion concert in March 5th, 8 p.m. at the 92nd Street Y. They haven't actually said that those people will be in the concert.
But maybe
David
you
Hyde
never
Pierce
know.
will be directing it, and it will be announced at a future date. So I like reunions. Reunions are fun.
They're fun. We have more stuff on the site. We have the 3rd episode of Getting Cheeky. I love that. Backstage at SpongeBob SquarePants with Lily Cooper, who is such a good vlogger. She really shows you around. She shows you around, and it's fun. She also shows the first preview and what it was like at the stage door. So that's pretty cool. We've got photos from the children's monologues, which we keep on talking about. But that was
Starry.
had benefit.
It
Starry
happened,
benefit.
finally.
It finally happened. Beanie Feldstein was adorable on Seth Meyers yesterday, and Ben Platt is on the Forbes list.
Yeah,
He's
influential.
powerful, very powerful. Then those two, of course, are besties.
Also, this is the final week to see Ben Platt. I don't think you can get in, but he's leaving Darren
Yeah, no, you
Hansen. Guys,
On
I'm
Sunday.
sorry, it's over.
It's over for him. The show will go on and
The
be
show's
fabulous.
going on, but I mean, this is iconic, right? It's a big performance.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, anyway.
It's a big deal. We will be right back with Ms. Vivien Reed.
On the outside, always looking in. Will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window.
Broadway's Come From Away is a Best Musical winner all across North America. This stirring and inspiring musical takes you to a place you never want to leave. Celebrate the best of humankind and the best in all of us at Come From Away, the remarkable true story of the small town that welcomed the world.
Welcome back to Live at 5. I'm Beth Stevens, and I am so excited because I'm here with Vivien Reed.
Hi.
Welcome, Ms.
Thank
Reed.
you. Thank you.
Okay, we have to school the children today about what you're doing at 54 Below. You are singing the songs of Lena Horne. Is that correct?
Vivian Reed sings Lena Horne, and the idea was presented to me about 2 years ago by a producer by the name of Daniel Naudiccio. And he said that her centennial was going to be coming up, and this was in 2000, I think 16 or 2015. In 2017, it would be coming up. So he said, why don't you put a show together? So I thought about it, and it was my pleasure to do it because years ago when I was being managed by the then owners of the Apollo Theater, her uncle was the accountant for the Apollo. And so Bobby Schiffman, who was my manager in Honey Coles, Bobby went to her uncle and asked her if she had any gowns that she wasn't wearing anymore, and she considered giving them to this young budding artist. And she sent over this whole trunk. I talk about that in the show.
She sent you a trunk
Full of
gowns.
beautiful
And
evening
they fit
gowns. Yes, because I'm thin, she was thin, and it was fabulous. And then my mother was making me gowns, so I had the best of both worlds. So it was my pleasure to put something
Describe
together.
some of these gowns. This sounds
The one
so
that I
special.
wore the most was a satin gown with a black lace overlay, and it had like a shocking pink cummerbund sort of thing at the waist, strapless. And I wore that, I think, more than any of the other gowns. It was just absolutely beautiful, but then so were the others.
And back then, you were up and coming still.
Yes.
So were you a student?
I was a student at Juilliard because I was born a classical singer, and this happened, I would probably say, in my second year.
What?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Your
it was
classmates
amazing.
must have been so jealous of you.
I was kind of quirky, I was into my classical music because that's all I knew. It was interesting because when a woman took me by the Apollo, she actually thought she was going to get me some work at the Apollo, and all I knew were arias. And I'm like, I knew enough to know that they weren't singing arias at the Apollo Theater. But Bobby said when I came back to the business, because I had taken some time out, to take care of my mother who was up in age. But I called him because I wanted to share this with the audience, and I asked him, I said, what was it about this skinny girl singing classical music that you wanted to manage? And he just said I had something special, and he wanted to be a part of nourishing it. And that's how it started, and slowly but surely I started getting into other forms of music.
Like Broadway.
And now I'm singing the blues.
Well, you have such a range because
Yeah.
you were, as you said, born a singer.
Yes.
But you are a fantastic dancer.
Yeah, I took dance for about 25 years.
Oh
yes.
my God! I mean,
you
you guys need to go down a YouTube spiral if you haven't, because you will have some fun with Ms. Vivien Reed. So but you can sing blues. You
Yes,
can sing gospel.
R&B. Oh, girl, I
R&B.
caused a scandal.
Oh, go
Did you
tell
hear
me.
about the cabaret convention?
Tell me all about it.
Ooh, at the Rose.
Now we're
she
getting
caused a scandal. Okay. They were giving me the Mabel Mercer Award this year. Last year it was Maureen McGovern, and so this year they wanted to present it to me. So she said, well, what do you want to sing? This is Katie Sullivan. So I said, why don't we do something different? So she said, tell me. I said, why don't we do some R&B? And she says, oh, I love it. So I chose Signed, Sealed, Delivered, where I started off stage, and then there was a drum roll. Then she introduced me, with the award, and then I came on and went into this funky arrangement on Hold On, I'm Coming, because I do all my arrangements. And I didn't really know the stir. I mean, this thing that I had caused. I mean, because the audience, I guess the
Do you
younger
feel a
people
buzz in
in
the
audience,
room? What was going on?
No, because it was at the Rose Hall, it's a big theater, and when I finished, I heard all these screams and yells, but there were a couple people that came up to me at the after party and said, Miss Reed, I've always enjoyed what you did in the past until tonight. What? And this gentleman was kind of up in age, and I didn't say anything. And so he said, I just found that what you did totally inappropriate for the kind of concert it was. And without missing a beat, I said, you found it totally inappropriate because it did not conform to the type of music that you thought I should have been singing.
Much.
But I think it was necessary, and I think KT thought it was necessary because the audience is old. It's an older audience, and at some point you have to attract younger people to come into the theater to keep this going because the cabaret convention is fabulous. But bottom line, cabaret is cabaret. You can go and see any kind of music you so desire in cabaret.
True.
It does not mean that it has to be between the period of 1920 and 1950.
Right, the songbooks.
The Great American Songbook has expanded with Carole King, with Cyndi Lauper, with Lionel Richie, with Stevie Wonder. So you cannot say it's just that period.
I can't believe someone went up to you and said that. Though.
No, he did, and he was very kind. He wasn't feeble or anything, and I was very respectful to him, but I wasn't going to stand there and
You don't
let
have to
him
defend
say,
yourself. You just do what you
you
do.
know, but you know what he said? But you could have sung Lena Horne. I said, I didn't care to sing Lena Horne. I care to sing what you heard
Come
me
see me
sing.
at 54 Below.
No,
if you
and
wanna
I
hear
think he
Lena Horne.
came. I think he came. And there, of course, she sang nothing but standards, and it was
Right.
my joy. I mean, I sing a lot of different styles. It's just that night I decided to get funky.
If you can do it, do it.
Oh,
If you got
honey,
it,
we
flaunt
turned it out. We had a ball because there were also a lot of older people who came up and applauded me for what I did, for going in a different way, for closing the show the way I did.
Well, let's talk about your arrangements because they're not not
different,
your
yeah.
mother's arrangements.
Well-
and Lena Horne is so closely associated with certain songs, Stormy
Yes.
Weather, of course.
Yes.
How do you make that your own and still pay homage to her?
I do it with everything. I told my manager, who is out of Montreal, and I said, just send me a lot of Lena Horne songs. And then, of course, I was going through them. So, I mean, there was just so many songs. And I picked the ones, because first of all, I didn't pick anything that I would not want to sing,
That's a good point.
ever. I
I mean,
have
she's
to
got
like
an incredible
it. Incredible.
amount of work that she did.
So what I did is I ended up with, I think it's 15 songs.
Mm-hmm.
I sit down. This is before I bring my conductor over. I sit down. I figure out the groove that I want to do. Am I going to change the bass line? I go through this process with everything, no matter which show I create. I do this with every song. Once I know what I'm going to do with it, and if there are going to be some breakdowns in it, am I going to elongate here? Is the bass line going to change? What's the groove? Then I call him down, and he will chart them for me.
Can we talk about Broadway?
Yes.
Okay. You made your Broadway debut in the 70s.
Yes.
You've got 2 Tony nominations.
Mhm.
The Tonys have changed so much. You had
Yes.
another one, it was at 1990.
It was in for High Rollers.
Right.
Yeah.
So a range of time
Yes.
between the two. How
Yeah.
are they different, the Tony Awards in the 70s versus the 90s?
I think there's probably, I mean, you still have the shows that are represented by the artist, but that's hard for me to answer because I participated in the Tonys the year that I was up. I don't know if
Do you
I
feel like
can-
Broadway changed at all during that time? I mean, New
My
York
thing-
changed.
What I would like to see more on Broadway is originality instead of remakes of everything. But I understand when the producers and investors, they have a lot of money in the show and they want to make sure, then they go and they get these enormous names to put seats, people in the seats. I get it. But it has stifled Broadway to a point because I think there's not a lot of originality with new shows.
think-
There are some, but not enough.
Yeah, yeah. And what you did back then was they would do more reviews.
Yes.
You were in a couple of reviews.
The
weren't you?
reviews, yeah, I mean, Bubbling did have a book. It wasn't the greatest book in the world, but it could be considered a review. But I think, what was the other one with Nell Carter?
Black and Blue?
Not
That was
Black
it?
and
No,
Blue.
Amos
Yeah,
Behaven?
that was Amos
Amos
Behaven.
Behaven.
That definitely was a review because it was no dialogue.
Right, it was just song
So
after
we
song.
did have
Yeah.
we did have some dialogue, but there was a point when I was on Broadway. There were about 7 black shows
Yeah.
running at the same time. I don't know. I just would just like to see a little bit more than what's there.
Would you come back?
Oh, absolutely. If the role is right and it's right for me and I'm right for it, why not?
Do you go and see Broadway at all?
Yeah, the last thing I saw was The Great Comet, and I also saw Come From Away, which I absolutely loved, and I love, Grace McLean came to see my show. Phenomenal singer. She
beautiful voice.
blew me away. It's how she used her voice.
If you like someone's voice, then they must be
Yes.
primo because you know what you're talking
But
about.
not only that, I think it's it's more because I tell my students, because I teach for Marymount Manhattan College, and I tell my students it's more than just a beautiful voice producing beautiful sound and words. You have to jump into to me, lyrics are more important than how well you sing. And I think that's what impressed me with Grace and a few other singers. How she tells the story, the usage of her voice, and she just brought you in.
Oh, yeah.
And she told somebody that's what she enjoyed about me the other night, just watching me, because I'm all about the lyrics. I go there.
You have worked with so many amazing people.
Yeah.
Is there any favorites that just you can think of off the top of your head?
No, not really.
Well, your last Broadway show was Marie Christine.
Marie Christine, we did Marie Christine with Audra, and it was great. You know, I think Marie Christine, I think if it had been called what it really was, and that is a contemporary opera, I think it would have had a longer life, but it was being
Expectations
called
were
a
different.
musical. Expectations, you either loved it or you hated it. There
Yeah.
wasn't a gray area. So if you weren't into that kind of singing, that kind of music, you did not like it. If you were, then you loved it. But I think as a contemporary opera, which I think the Times, there was a lady that came back from the Times to review Sherry Booth, I think is her name. She was the alternate for Audra. And she said exactly that. She said, if this had only been called a contemporary opera, I think it would have had a longer life, and I definitely agree.
Did you see Audra do her Billie Holiday show?
Yes, phenomenal. Because, you know,
That's
there was
a
a whole
lot
thing.
to
There was
take
a
on.
whole thing in the beginning. Okay, now how's she gonna take that sound of hers and do Billie? But oh my God, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. There was no trace of her sound.
Right. Right.
It was
and she
a-
has a very distinctive sound.
A very distinctive sound, and her acting it was fabulous. I really have nothing
So you stay in
bad to
touch?
say. No, it's been a long time since I've seen her. It's been actually quite a few years, but I'm so proud of what she's accomplished.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and she's come a long ways as an actress. I mean, major. I would like to see her do Marie Christine now.
Oh,
Whoa,
okay.
whoa,
I
whoa,
mean,
whoa,
I'm
whoa,
ready.
yeah,
Talking
yeah.
about reunions.
Yes, that would be fabulous.
Well, we have a question. Bradley asks, love hearing you sing Sondheim music.
Yes.
What's your favorite song?
Losing My Mind.
Oh, I love that song.
It's in my. It's actually in one of my earlier shows. Yes, and I also participated at Sondheim Unplugged at 54 Below, so that was nice. It was actually my way back to the business. That was one of the first things I did before I actually did my concert at 54 Below, and it was wonderful. It was good to be in front of an audience again. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I would love to hear you sing that.
But you know, with the Lena Horne show, there's a lot of narrative, and I deal, you know, because we can only be on stage for about 75 minutes, but I deal with key points of her life, and I also deal with her activism. So the song now that she sang, I sort of, I didn't reconstruct it, but just did it my way. And it's probably one of the most intense moments in the show. And I get to that point, I talk about what led up to that point, I hit it, and then there's no other moment like it in the show. And of course, we deal with stormy weather, which the death that she endured because 4 men who played a major part in her life, they all really started to pass away within a certain amount of time. So that kind of leads into stormy weather, and then there's laughter. There's lots of laughter. You know, I gotta have laughter, girl. I gotta have laughter.
All right, let's tell the people when they can see you at 54
Okay,
Below.
the next show is December 7th at 9:30, 54 Below, 254 West 54th. The next one is February 7th.
It's
at
all on the 7th.
7 it's so true. It is
And March
all on the
7th,
7th.
right? So we got
and then March
December,
7th at 7.
February, March 7th.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yes.
See Vivien Reed. She's a treasure.
Thank you.
Where are those gowns now?
I don't know. Somebody asked me that. I probably gave them away because I give a lot of my gowns away. I know, girl. Do you know?
What
I
are
wish I
you
had them gowns
thinking?
now because that was a while ago when I gave them away. I didn't have any sense then. See, now I have
Now
sense.
she's got all
I
the
have
sense.
common sense. I would never give those gowns away now. But then, you're young and you don't think.
Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and get yourself to 54 Below on December 7th, February 7th, or March 7th to see Ms. Vivien Reed. And we will see you back here tomorrow.